We just give a little
So,
smile as soon as we go live. So happy
start there.
afternoon, Thursday afternoon,
Friday Eve.
Friday Eve. That's a
Yes.
much more fun and positive way to put it. From now on, it is known as Friday Eve.
Friday Eve. Yes. And Wednesday is Friday Eve Eve. Just kidding.
You have a whole series of Eves.
Yes. But see, I was born on New Year's Eve. And so, like, I love all the Eves.
You just want fireworks for your birthday every single year.
Every day, everybody celebrating my birthday across the world.
That's
pretty
right.
much.
It's all about you, Crystal.
It is the fireworks and everything. So, welcome to Marketing School. Emily and I love to go live on Facebook, and really we just like to talk about things we've had going on and topics that jump out to us.
Some of y'all might be thinking there's a weird topic, like, my kids still have 6 more weeks back to school, but not here in Texas in the South. My kids started school yesterday. I know some of y'all are probably like, "What in the world?"
My son starts next week, so.
But yeah, school is back in session for us here in Texas. And so we thought this would be a great opportunity to give some schooling and some lessons about marketing and branding and how you can actually apply this to your company, to think about it in a holistic and a very comprehensive approach so that you can really make some traction and grow your business.
Yeah, one of the things yesterday I answered this a couple of times, and it reminded me that you think everybody knows who you are, you think you do cool stuff, and but yesterday I did a sales call, and the person was like, "I don't really know that I know what lemon seed does," and it kind of reminded me, like, okay, I always need to be telling that story, which flows into today. What is Sometimes we think, gosh, are they not tired of hearing about us? Do they get tired of seeing our content? Are they tired of like these tired ads, whatever you think, about your business? Because I was telling this person, I was like, well, this is what Lemon Seed does. 2 veins of business, one is branding and one is strategy, and then bringing those 2 veins together. And I was just like, okay, I feel like I'm a broken record. And so Lupita, who sits on those calls with me as a part of the sales team, I was like, man, I know people get tired of me saying the same things. And she goes, it's their first time to hear it. I was like, okay, out of the mouth of not babes, but of the Lupitas, it is true that we as owners of our businesses, we have to continue to tell our story over and over and over again.
Well, and a lot of times people don't realize to pay attention to you until they have a need to pay attention to you. So, just like how in Lemon Seed, like, people may not really care to know much more about Lemon Seed or something unless they are a business owner, a marketing manager, something where it all of a sudden becomes applicable to their business. But the average person working off the street, they don't know nor need to figure out what Lemon Seed does. But same with your HVAC business. You're not worried about that, or your plumbing business. People aren't until they actually own their own home, where they would have to make those choices and decisions, where something is starting to not work or their energy bill is starting to get really high. That's when they start to notice and start to care. So don't forget that piece in being diligent to tell your story over and over again, to share what makes you different from competitors, because up until this point, they haven't had a reason to care.
Well, you really have to put, like you're saying, you really, as a contract owner, you really have to put yourself in the right seat. So if I owned a boutique and I meant to drive foot traffic, right, I have to have new things in there, or else once people have been there, they've been there forever.
Sure.
But it's not a time of need service. It's what people do for fun and enjoyment, and clothing, vacations, all those things are exciting. So that's why a boutique, you have to have exciting things, you have to run promotions. It's a lot different of a marketing strategy than we do. We, as home service companies, we will work literal years on just building our messaging, just literally pushing it out so much that people can't help but remember us. But a lot of times contractors are left just running on that hamster wheel of, I need more leads right now, right now, right now. Everything is right now. Another person that we were talking to the other day, they were like, I need leads in the next 2 weeks.
I saw that intake form come through, and I'm like, talk about not digging your well until it's dry.
Oh, yeah. Like, this was by the time you realize that you need leads, it's way too late. Like, you're in a struggle. But I do want to say there's very few things that are going to immediately, because the first thing I said was, hey, let's just jump to the chase about this 2 weeks question. I'm going to tell you that nothing's going to work in 2 weeks other than outbound dialing. Well, my CSRs are busy.
Oh,
and if y'all have ever heard me, I'm like, what are they doing, sir? Talking to each other? Because you just said you had no leads. So, but it reminds me, and y'all have heard that story before. It literally happens quite often. And to Emily's point, what happens with marketing, I just really want to encourage contractors. You have to take a mind shift that marketing is a long-term investment. It is a long-term strategy. Very few things do you flip a switch and go sit down and it just rolls. There is so much to it that this is why contractors, they feel overwhelmed with marketing. They don't know what works. They don't know what vendor. Everything's a scam. And I'm like, it's not a scam. There's just unclear expectations.
Sure.
And so I was just like, hey, 2 weeks, if you were fully branded, rocking and rolling, direct mail, cultivating, email, all those things, then you probably wouldn't be in a boat where you were super down at no leads.
Correct.
You might see dips and tumbles, but odds are it should streamline a little bit. Now, listen, most of us are in a weather-driven industry.
Right.
So when weather's super strong, one direction or the other, so if we've got really nice days, listen, Texas really has not had a strong summer. We're all feeling it.
The only people upset about that are the HVAC companies.
Correct.
But everyone else, it's been milder. Now it's still warm and hot.
Well,
but
we've been outside today and had lunch.
Correct.
And listen, in August, ain't nobody sitting outside trying to have lunch in East Texas. We were only mildly sweating, but it was so cold in the room we were in. We were glad to be outside.
We had to thaw out a little bit.
But yeah, so many of us you're chasing leads instead of building long-term things and planning for the ups and downs of business.
Sure. So what we've kind of developed at Lemon Seed is kind of what we call our 3-bucket approach, and how you have a comprehensive marketing plan that is organized and structured, but for hitting on all the parts in the customer journey, if you will. And so many people like to just focus on just one of these buckets and they're ignoring everything else. And just like how we talked about the seasonality of the business, how we're in this for the long game, you have to have an approach for all 3 buckets. And so the first of that is branding. How are we building our brand? How are we being memorable? How are we making ourselves known well before the time of need service actually happens? And so it is your foundational piece. And so this is one that we're going to stress of, like, you need to do this one first, because everything else you do on top, it might work and you might get lucky and some things might stay up for a while, but like eventually it's going to kind of come crumbling down a little bit, or it's going to be a lot harder. You got to keep mending these walls to make them stand up.
Yeah.
So the branding bucket.
Well, so another client story. So we
got lots of those.
Well, it's just, it's so relational sometimes. So, met with a client. He's 3 years in business. He's doing like $1 million, doing pretty good, roofing contractor. But he says, man, we're talking through branding. He's got this mixture of brands going on because he bought a company. So we're looking through everything. And the next thing I know, I'm like, okay, you need to restructure this, and this. And he goes, man, I really wish I would have started with branding. Yeah. He said, because what I did is my buddy designed this logo. It was good enough to get me some business cards made. I went out and made business cards, but now I'm tied to this name that's not an easy name. I want to get outside of East Texas, and it's boring. And so I'm like, yes. And so I hate it, because I will see, listen, no lie, we will see 30, 50, $200 million companies that don't have great brands.
Yeah.
And so they've built their business strictly off operational because their marketing was not helping it. That's the way you have to look at it. Because people say, well, my buddy built this, and he probably did. I mean, by everything but marketing or everything but branding probably drove it. But it reminded me, like, no matter where you are in business, especially when you're small or new, let me use new, to the game, or you're just now opening your business, getting ready to go out on your own, whatever that looks like to you. The importance of building the brand first, at least identifying your brand identity, your logo, colors, all of that. It is so important.
Well, and it's an investment, especially if you're doing it with Lemon Seed, because we really try to take a strategic approach to it. But I promise you it is the cheaper investment over the long term. You will pay so much more to redo it, to try to establish yourself, to try to make yourself more memorable and more known when you don't start with that foundational
piece. Weaker your brand is, the higher you're going to have to pay for calls to action.
Correct. And then when you do hear of these successful companies that are multi-millions, and they have terrible looking brands and things like that, and you think like, then branding's not that important. But in reality, we always say, like, think how good it could have been.
Oh, I say all the time. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
So like, you've done great. Congratulations. You've had operational success. But also, like, if you aren't running on every single cylinder of operations and you need some help to kind of come alongside you, because let me say, most y'all ain't operating on every single cylinder firing.
We all have a few holes.
Correct. We all do. But that's all I get. When you have a comprehensive approach to marketing, sales, and operations, you have a balanced approach in your business. And the same thing in this marketing bucket, or the 3 buckets that we put into a comprehensive marketing plan. So building your brand, starting that piece, being memorable,
Yes.
it's super important.
Oh, and one more thing I'll tell you, and then this is a struggle, but I explained this well yesterday to a client. I think they registered with it. So again, when you have your jokes on me, but when you have your last name is the name of your company. Okay. Again, jokes on me. My last name is not Lemon Seed, but it is my maiden name is McWilliams. So I did go from McWilliams to Williams. It's all a thing. Everybody's
it's
fine.
Confusing for everyone.
And yes. I have 14 Rays in my family. There's a lot going on, but we're fine. But what I will say is, listen, when you add a character, a symbol, a color, a cool name, there is so much more grit to that brand. So what it does is it opens up the opportunities for you to begin utilizing unique language, unique offers, unique graphics to support your brand. So if you're called Crystal's Heating and Air Conditioning, unless I'm willing to like make that into like a crystal ball and own that and magic and all this, which I love Jesus, not really magic, so it's weird, but you kind of go along this. When you have a unique brand, there is something that sticks out that gives you teeth it gives you tons of ideas. It's how your maintenance plan becomes easier to build out, your social media content, your editorial comment or content for your newsletters. It just gives you something to hold on to. So this client was like, well, I've been thinking about dropping the cowboy. And I'm like, listen, the cowboy's the best thing you got. Okay, because a name like Williams Heating and Air Conditioning, there's nothing to that. Correct. So we got to lie on this cowboy. Now we are wrangling up good offers. We are, giddy up this and rearing back, whatever you want to do with horses and cows and things like that. Not my jam or yours. Would you know what to do with a cow? Milk the best offers.
All I know to do with a cow is go to Chick-fil-A. Okay.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true.
But no, you're right. When you have that brand that has something to hold on to, one, I think it just provides a whole lot more legitimacy. So when you're naming it after yourself, you appear like Crystal's Heating and Air. Like you kind of appear like a one-man show. Like, do you even have a whole team? Are you kind of a chuck in a truck when you're named just literally after yourself?
Well, and then when you sell that dang thing.
Oh yeah. Then what you gonna do?
Well, people still calling, can I talk to Crystal?
Right. Or you named it after the place where you live. Okay, great. Good luck going into other counties or to doing other things. And like, you're never going to be able to own that name because you don't own the city name or the county name or the Deep East Texas, Piney Woods. All of that stuff is so universal to everything in your area. It makes you so much harder to have a piece to hang on that's uniquely yours. So many people are afraid to be unique. They want to do what's safe and what everyone else has done in some form
what
or
if
fashion.
Someone don't like it? Good. Maybe they'll talk about it.
Well, I mean, we had a customer that posted how he got a 1-star review because someone hated his jingle.
And I'm like, yes,
I know. And the people that get it, they were commenting and encouraging him like, hey, your jingle worked. Okay. They still remembered it enough to go find you. They didn't just hear the jingle being like, I don't even know who said that.
Yeah.
But the marketers and the people that it's know and understand were encouraging like, hey, you've done a good job. It did what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. So one thing the note that we want you to take in today's class on branding is find that unique piece about your brand. Find that unique piece. And if you can't, then you probably need to revisit something.
And then don't grow weary in telling that story.
Yeah, tell it over and over and over again. I'm telling you, if you go look at influencers, like go look at TikTok creators right now. Go look at the Kylie Pitts and a few of those people. If you look, their content is almost the same. Get ready with me. I'm taking my kid to school today. And you know what that is? Regular boring stuff. But it's because you know what, when you find her, when you see her content, it's going to be something around her house or something that she's doing or messing around with her husband, her kid's name. And do y'all think, every day, all she does is tell her story over and over and over again.
But that's what relates to people. And that's why they keep coming back to
their
content.
So you can do that too. So that's your note to take down for branding. Then we get into bucket number 2, which listen, most of y'all love this bucket
and are dumping all your eggs in this bucket.
Most of y'all live in this bucket, but you're also mad at this bucket. So
kick that bucket.
Yeah, this bucket is y'all have a love-hate relationship with it. But this next bucket, I call it the call to action bucket. It is where we are asking for the business. This is where you are really trying to be where the people are. Okay. So this is your search response. This is direct mail. This is things that are immediately asking for the service. So I like to always preface this bucket by saying, honestly, some of y'all have 2 schools of thought. You either are like dug your heels in, you're not paying for stuff. It's super expensive. I'm not here for it. I don't want to do it, but you're mad you don't have leads because you also don't do the other buckets. Or some of y'all are like Emily mentioned, you're totally vested in this bucket. This bucket holds over 50% of your budget. If you are over 50% of your budget strictly in PPC and GLSA, holler at your girls over here. Okay, because you're just, I say it's like y'all need that bump of cocaine. Like you need
it's
a
just a
little,
high. Like, what else
Emily
am I
does
gonna do?
not do cocaine, but
Crystal does.
yeah,
No.
but it's just it reminds me, and I can't remember. I've seen this on social media recently. I can't exactly remember who said it, so I apologize. Whoever said it, please tell me. It was somebody. It was a little influencer in our space, but it's like taking that bump of cocaine. PPC is, because when you hit PPC, pay per click, paid ads, and it's working, man, you're like, give it more, give it more, give me
Right.
more, and then all of a sudden it hits a wall, and you're like, oh my god, what happened? Then you literally go feast or famine.
Right. And you kind of you're addicted to it at that point. You're like, well, it did work. And like, you're hoping that it's going to come back around, that it's going to work. So like, but you've invested too much into it to where you can't invest or diversify
Yeah,
into
why don't I
anything
have
else.
leads? And here's another thing. This is going to hurt your feelings. This is another thing. I had a client, or not a client, a potential client, say, I just don't know. I want to get rid of my digital company. They're terrible. And I'm like, oh gosh, I hate to hear that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Quite could be a possibility. Odds are,
It's you.
I've actually only found 2 or 3 times in my entire professional career where I was like, this company is wild, out of control in a bad way. Most of the time, it's either a combination of things, but I'm going to tell you the biggest mistake that I see contractors making. You're either grossly underspending. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
tell you, if you're an aggressive contractor and you're trying to grow, and your bill with your digital company that is all inclusive, SEO, PPC, hosting, and it's less than $2,000, it ain't them, friend. It's you probably. And you're like, I have a great company for $860. Shoot me your, listen, I will do a free analysis and tell you about it, because odds are, if you're pleased with them, you're probably easy to please. And in their defense, they don't have anything to work with, so they probably are doing a good job of what they've been given to work with. So that's what I think. And I know I come on here and defend digital companies. We are not a digital company. Emily and I do not sell websites. We love to figure out if they're working for you, but we love to work with the vendor, because odds are they want to be successful too. But when I say you're not spending enough money for their time and energy, right, to do it for you, to be the experts in it, your SEO work, right? And most of you, go ahead and add on, you think you're doing some sort of paid ad strategy. So GLSA or Google local service ads, pay per click, geofencing, geotargeting, remarketing, you're doing something, and it is less than $2,000. There's an issue.
Correct. I mean, unless you are in like podunk,
Which, and
we
I
only
live
got
in
one.
Podunk.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I would be surprised, but I move on from that a little bit. Like, I just want to encourage y'all here on this. But this is the most misunderstood bucket that I think we have. Most of y'all know you need to be branding. You just don't know what to do or how to do it. So I'll give you that. But this one, all of y'all you want more leads flowing in your business, but like with Angie, Thumbtack, Nextdoor, and all that, you're like, oh, it's speed to lead. It's pay
to play.
Thank you. Shoot. It's right after lunch. Pay to play. And so you're like, oh, I don't like pay to play. Okay. So then you're going to go dump all of your money in pay per click, which, guess what pay per click is?
Paying to play.
Just a whole we just worded it different for you. And then GLSA is the most fair thing out there, and fair is also a strong word. So most of you just are probably not spending enough in this space, nor are you auditing it enough to diversify it and pivot where you need to. And so my biggest tip on that is you need to really understand what you're paying for. What are you paying for? And you need to ask your digital provider, what else should I be doing? Am I underspending? And trust the
Well,
experts.
and when you're asking those right questions, then you can get on the same page of what our expectations are. You know, and that I think is where a lot of people, they don't have the same expectations of each other. You know, digital vendors expecting you, the contractor, to participate more, to show up to your reporting meetings, to give feedback and pulses on the
to
inside.
measure.
Correct. You know, yeah, to give your numbers back. But the contractor on the same thing is like, you know, you get what you pay for. And so when you aren't spending enough, what do you expect? You know, you're spending, you know, $1,000 a month, and like, that seems like a ton of money to a lot of you, but then you're expecting it to produce $4 million for you, you know? So
I would like to grow by 30%. So I'm going to spend 2% in marketing.
right. and keyword grow, like get
Yes.
above where you did last time. So you've got to do something different than what you've done before.
Yes, yes. And a lot of you guys, I think what happens here is you heard somebody say that you should be doing these paid ad things, or you're on the opposite end and you've been investing in paid strategy, and you got burned. So, oh, this was terrible.
And
This
then you
didn't
don't
work
tell
for me.
everybody about how you got burned.
Another good contractor example that I have is Facebook ads. So I had a contractor running Facebook ads when they came to us. So they were like, it's terrible. They do not work at all. So I'm like, okay. So I said, let me see your ad. Well, I don't know what the ad is. Oh, okay. So it's fancy. So like, well, can whoever runs it for you, can they send it to me? Yes. So what type of ad do you think this was? A call to action ad or a branded ad?
Well, I'm going to guess that it was a call to action ad on social media.
Okay, that's what most educated people would think. That I'm like, okay, well, this is a $89 tune-up, a water heater flush, something. No, this was a branded ad. So all they were doing was talking about them and reading their tagline. So I was like, yeah, so this is not a bad ad strategy, but it's you have it in the wrong bucket.
Correct.
So they had Facebook ads in their call to action. They thought that their Facebook ads running was literally going to drive immediate business
by just showing their logo on
and
an
I'm like,
ad.
yeah, that needed to be associated in your branding bucket because it's not going to have a direct ROI. No one goes, oh my God, I'm so glad I saw that Pelican because I have been wanting to get a water heater flush. That does not happen, y'all. It doesn't. So if you're going to check on your ads and say, is this ad intended to be a branded ad or is this intended to be a call to action ad? What bucket do I put it in? And so to me, the notes that you take on this call to action bucket are definitely understand what creative is being pushed out. What is the actual ad that your company's doing? Break down your ad spend with those digital providers, meaning if I'm paying you $5,000 a month, what percentage of it is ad spend? What of it is actually going to fees? And not that fees are bad. Remember, companies have to make money. Believe us.
Right. And if you want them to be good and be experts in their field, they're not the cheapest person out there.
Yes. And then y'all need to be tracking this stuff. And so here's another thing. Companies like Searchlight. Lemon Seed is a huge fan of Searchlight because Searchlight does not care what digital provider you're with, how much you're spending. They're just going to show you what is, or in a lot of cases is not happening. And so to me, that's kind of your homework. What homework would you give them for bucket number 2? Discoverable.
Yeah. And one thing I was going to add to that is like, you also got to give some time to these things. So not that you just started running these ads,
patience,
whether it be GLSA, PPC, social media ads, whatever it is, and 2 days later be like, nothing is working. Okay. You do have to have, when you're talking with your vendor, setting those clear expectations. How long should I expect for this to run before we decide this is working, this is not working, we need to pivot, we need to change, giving things some time to marinate and to resonate is needed in every single bucket and in every single tactic, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a good one because I'm telling you, again, y'all, marketing is not fast. It's not fast.
As much as y'all want it to be.
Yeah, it's not. And it's not. And I tell everybody every day, like, I've gotten to the point now, used to when we first started Lemon Seed, I'd be like, okay, we can work with anybody and do anything y'all need us to do. Now I'm like, okay, let me tell you how the cow ate the cabbage. Because you either believe in the philosophy and the thoughts behind how Lemon Seed does marketing, or you want to go chase it a different way.
Correct.
I'll admit, we're probably not the only right way to do things, but we are a proven way to do things. And so I can show you examples of clients that have been with us. So Emily and I were just talking the other day. We have a client that's been with us, 3-4 years, 5 years maybe since we first started. And when he started with us, he came out of an AB group with Service Nation Alliance. They connected as friends. Oh, you should work with Crystal. So I remember the first time I said, hey, you know what I need you to spend is about 8 to 9%. Oh my God, you've lost your freaking mind. I'm never going to do it. But he was like, you know what? Let me trust the process. And so we're still working together. He's grown exponentially. He's adding services. Now, listen, he bucks up at us every once in a while and throws us in like, I'm not doing it, puts his feet down. But honestly, at the end of the day, I think he trusted us, and honestly, we had to trust him.
Correct.
Because we trust contractors to uphold their side, their end of the bargain.
Yeah, and I would say for him specifically, he has trusted the process. So like when we said you need to refresh your brand, he was like, "Okay,
I do not want to, but I shall."
Correct. You need to get a jingle. oh, okay. A lot of those things don't make sense to him. He's never done it before. No one else in his area is doing some of these things,
Yep.
but he's trusted the process. He's seen the results, and he said to us numerous, like, I wish I would have done this sooner.
Oh, yes.
And so again, that's what we're talking about. This branding bucket number one, you're gonna wish you would have done this sooner and started today than 6 months from now.
And listen, he stays mad at bucket number 2. Okay.
You're gonna be
Because
mad at bucket number. Go ahead, kick it. Okay.
well, here's this problem. Like, he was with a digital vendor. We
Mhm.
decided collectively it wasn't a good fit. We helped him get connected with another digital vendor, but those vendors did things drastically different. So he's like, I don't understand. So then we bring in Searchlight. So a lot of his is his passion for learning and being involved in it. And listen, I will take passionate owners every single day over
Sure.
passive owners.
Oh,
So
100%.
listen, our team, we talk to our team, and so we'll say, is there anybody that's struggling? And they'll say, so and so's missed their last 3 meetings. Let me tell you what's going to happen. That next meeting, all of a sudden, everything's falling down, nothing's working, and you're like, okay, so
And then
let's go
everything's an
look.
emergency.
Yeah, and we're like,
Yes.
where have you been for 3 weeks? Barbados. And I'm like, okay, so you just were like gallivanting around the country. And listen, weather hasn't driven things for us. And so anyway, we just see it every day. So I just want you to walk away with that call to action bucket of, you can have all the tactics that you want, but without a strategy and without a budget and without patience, you're going to constantly be frustrated, and not even in a good way. Like, frustrated in a good way is because you're constantly pivoting. But when you have data behind you and you're invested in it, you just happen to have a better approach to bucket number 2, which is the discoverable bucket. And again, just to reiterate what that means, when people are getting ready to look for the business, but they don't know a brand. There's not a brand stuck in their head. So they're just like, air conditioner, East Texas, AC repair near me. You need to show up. And so those are the people that we're trying to grab. So, we have that marketing funnel that's just literally shaped like a funnel. These are the people that are at the very bottom. They need the service. They're ready for the service right now. We want to encourage you, start at the top, market to those people, market all the way down to those people. And hopefully when they walk in, AC's not working, they think, let me call the people with the turtle or whatever.
Yep. And you want to have a wider bucket. So it's a funnel. You want to have more leads. You want to have more people to actually service. You got to cast a wider net. Okay. That's that part of that branding bucket. So cast your wider net so that there's more left when it actually funnels down. So, third and last bucket, cultivation. So this is where we are cultivating and fostering our existing customer database. So, when you do have, nothing else is working, there are no leads, absolutely nothing absolutely happening, going to your existing customer database is going to be your quickest way to do that. So there's a numerous ways of how you can do that. Crystal mentioned already outbound dialing, going through your list and your customers. But there's also numerous other ways to cultivate it through emails, texting, customer appreciation, mail, newsletters, things like that. There's all kinds of things that you can be doing that to stay their guy, to stay top of mind, to hopefully provide the best experience for them to where they refer you and they are a raving fan of you and your company. And they feel solid that they made a great choice. They've trusted you and they would recommend you to trust others.
Yeah. Again, another client story. This was yesterday. This clients, they were referral from their digital agency. So super nice. Everybody was great. And they're like, well, here's what we really we've got like 3,000 people sitting in our database and we never talk to them. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, hey, just out of curiosity, what made you think of this? And they were like, well, when we were onboarding with our digital agency, they were like, okay, well, what are you currently doing for your existing database? And she's like, we just don't have time. I don't have time to develop a plan and to make sure it's getting done. And so I said, okay. I was like, well, Lemon Seed, number one, we'd want to connect you with Chirp. We're big Chirp fans over here, or Marketing Pro, one of the two, and get a plan in place. And she was like, okay, yeah, I just need somebody to do it. So, honestly, that's one of the reasons that Lemon Seed was built, was to help contractors like keep things moving forward. But I say that because cultivation is one of the easiest things to do when you have the right things in place.
Correct.
So, couple of things. Number one, is your CSR taking good information? Meaning age of equipment, owner's name, anything they can get out of that homeowner so that you can build them into segments. Emails, thank you. So a good cell phone number so we can text, a good email so we can email. Are they interested in indoor air quality? How old is their equipment? How do they feel about technology? Any little pieces would allow us to build out these unique audiences. So imagine, I use this example quite often, but if you had refrigerant added into your system last summer, odds are, what do you think you need this summer?
More
more
refrigerant added.
refrigerant. And also, you probably need to replace your system. There's
Mhm.
something you got a leak somewhere. So it's either a large ticket repair or a replacement. So if I can say, hey, Emily, we were out at your house last summer. We show you needed some refrigerant. This year, we're trying to help you get ahead of the summer weather. The first pound of refrigerant's on us. Let us come out, do a tune up, and get you ready. Yeah, people are like, well, it's not going to make you any money. Okay, it's not. That particular item is not meant to give us any money, but it does catch our attention. She goes, oh crap, I forgot they came out last summer. And my electric bill was already high in May. I know it's about to be high again. The $69 tune up, let me let them come out.
And
So
it also,
again,
it goes to show, like, man, they're really on top of their stuff.
uh-huh.
It legitimizes you again. It puts trust and security. Like, they really know my system. They're really here to take care of it, things like that. So,
That's a
like,
good point.
those are some of those, like, intangible things that don't directly make you money, but it is positioning yourself as the authority, building trust with that customer. So when they do come out and do just another tune up, add more refrigerant or whatever, you're that much closer to being able to earn their business for the full system replacement if it doesn't happen right this moment.
Yeah, and let me tell you, if your technicians can't flip that, then that's another
Mm.
issue that should be brought to your attention. Okay. So again, these are things that when you're cultivating your existing database, right, which is that third bucket, cultivating, you've got all these people that you've already paid for their lead in some form or fashion, right? So they're sitting there not remarketing to them. It is like it's a travesty to me.
Mm.
So at least at the bare minimum, one note you could take would be at the bare minimum, send a newsletter out by email, which the Lemon Seed loves to do this because we love to do newsletters. It's very much on brand. So it's right up our alley to do some cute stuff. Okay. But there is also those unique audiences that utilizing resources like Chirp or Hatch or Marketing Pro or any of those, you just have a unique opportunity to reach out to them in their own place, like meet them where they're at. But again, it's also like how you can go after reviews, how you can go after referrals, like you mentioned. And listen, add a new service. People are
Oh,
like, I'm getting ready to add plumbing, but I just don't know what to do. Okay, I'll tell you what to do. These 3,000 people that are sitting in here,
they
they
gonna
get
be
a well,
knowing.
and they gonna feel super special because you know what
Correct.
I'm about to do? Hey, yeah, sneak peek. Okay,
Mhm.
$50 off coupon. My customers come first. Free water heater flushes. Y'all, we should be able to see a little dust kicked up
Sure.
just from those people. But if we're not doing a good job, number one, with collecting data, number two, with drilling down on our audiences, and number three, valuing those people for everything they bring to the table,
Mhm.
and then asking for referrals. If you've not created a referral program, that's very simple. And I mean simple, like to the point, like, hey, Miss Smith, thank you for sending Emily to us. Here's $25 to Starbucks. I don't care, but something, some sort of acknowledgement, that cultivation. But the of these three buckets, the one thing I will say is most of you have a wobbly stool,
Yeah.
right? Because if each of these buckets was a leg of a stool, most of you are not balanced out in this. You're actually super heavy. Most of you, I'm going to use the word super heavy one way or the other. But I do come across contractors that are doing really good things. It's probably still not the best because there's always some little hole somewhere. But at the end of the day, I talk to way more contractors who are overwhelmed with marketing and just kind of throwing money at the wall than I do with people with an organized plan.
Oh, for sure.
So, or people that think just because they have a website vendor, they have a marketing plan. I'm like, tell me about your
Again,
marketing plan. And they'll name off, it's such and such agency. And I'm like,
again, that's one little drop in one of these buckets. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's not a full on
I use
plan.
the analogy of a bucket or of a puzzle. I can use it of a cake. But Emily mentioned this earlier, foundationally, guys, like the majority of us, even us included, need to get back to basics.
Mm.
Like every year, we were just at a leadership training, so it's like stuck in our heads right now. But like every year, you almost need to refocus yourselves. Like, have I gotten way off track? Have I allowed distractions? Because listen, take it from someone, I'm easily distracted, and I'm normally distracting myself. But there is a foundational thing that you can build. So I say this: if the icing is really good on the cake, that's good until you slice into it and that cake inside of it's dried up and
Mhm.
crumbly and nobody wants it. But hardly anyone ever says this cake is delicious when the cake was really just pretty.
Mm.
So you go to a wedding, you're like, oh my gosh, this cake is beautiful. And then you slice into it, you're like, oh, it's nasty on the inside. Or you're like, this cake is delicious, right? And so I think as owners, operators, contractors, what happens is we have all the ingredients or a lot of the ingredients, but maybe we're missing something or we are not baking it correctly. We're not combining them correctly. Same thing, we've got too much flour, right? And it's the same thing with marketing. It's corny, but it is like, man, you are grossly overspending on PPC. If you took half of that budget and put it over here in a direct mail campaign for your 20-year-old company, I mean, I talked to a company the other day, 50 years old. I'm close to 50, if not 50. And I was like, okay, so are you guys doing direct mail? No. I mean, we tried it,
That
10
one
years
time,
ago
that
and it just
one
didn't
drop.
work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, friends, you are so established in your market, whether you like it or not. After 5 years, if you have wrapped trucks and you've been in business 5 years, odds are people know who you are. So direct mail is a very simple thing to launch. I would never encourage people to utilize direct mail for one-off projects because it ain't going to work. Unless you've been mailing consistently for a long time and then you throw in something cool. But like if you're just going to drop a piece of direct mail and be like, this did not work. But first of all, your logo's terrible. I hate to hurt your feelings. Second of all, you mailed one time.
Correct.
And you had no tracking on it. So really all you were mad that nobody called and said, I specifically got your postcard in the mail.
Oh, I mean, I know. And I heard a contractor tell me this yesterday. Well, nobody told me that they've seen my billboard. Nobody told me that they saw my piece of direct mail.
Sir, do you drive down the road like, oh my God, Pizza Hut? Just want to tell you.
I want to buy my pizza now.
No, I'm gonna lie. I am gonna give a little shout out for a moment. I saw Pepsi's new commercial last night. No, maybe this morning. But and now I'm gonna forget it. But basically, they're talking about parties. So they're like, it's a Pepsi party, or it's not a party without Pepsi. But it's like, we're your hot dog party friends. We're your barbecue party friends. But it's got this whole vibe around it. But I still do not know that anybody called Pepsi corporate.
Correct. No.
I mean, so and the joke here is like, y'all, we are not as important as we think we are. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes people be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what Lemon Seed did. And I'm like, you're a member of Service Nation. Like, you have seen me. I feel like I wear y'all out. But it's just because they didn't care about what I served them.
Well, or here's another thing that'll step on your toes and hurt your feelings. You want people to actually talk about your billboard or your commercial or something? Do something memorable, or do something that breaks the norm. It's not just a freaking logo with a website underneath it,
or 700 words.
Yeah, and your phone number and your address and Visa, MasterCard.
We do remodeling, construction, tile work, water heaters, HVAC units, ductless units, duct work. And I'm like, sir, I'm going 85 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I did not stop to even read all that. And I'm distracted.
Yeah. You want people to talk about it, do something disruptive, put it upside down.
But Emily, how will they know what I do? Sir. But I'm just going to tell you, it is.
I'm trying to help you build a brand, not just build a service, because everyone else is doing this same service that you have.
So I can hurt people's feelings innocently sometimes, but this one contractor was like, well, I don't know. I just really don't know that I need to spend money. I wanted to be like, what market are you in? Because I want to come to that market and just give me 18 months and I will run smooth over the top of you. Sure. And the reason that I say that is because, number one, we've done it. I've done it literally with my family's company. When we go into a new market with 6 months, within 6 months of us deploying boots on the ground, like guerrilla style marketing and mass media, they're like, we're bullies. They came into my market and they're bullies. I'm like, y'all are mad because we're willing to do things that you're not willing to do. I could literally stand up on a stage, me or Emily, and talk to a room full of contractors, 50 contractors, and tell them exactly how to go rule their market. Maybe one of them is bold enough to do it. And that happens all the time, y'all. That happens with people that are working with Lemon Seed. They hire us because they want to do. Lemon Seed's goal is to give you a strategy and creativity and help you know like when to push and pull and build your brand. But then people are like, okay, so I want to build a brand. Yes. So excited. Here's my money. Let's go. And then we're like, okay, so we want you to. And they're like, oh no, I don't want to.
Yeah. No.
Can you change that orange to red and blue and put a snowflake right there? That's earth shattering. And we're like, you paid us to be unique.
Sure.
But you're scared. Some of y'all are just too scared. You just need to own it. You're like, I'm not going to be unique. I don't want to be unique. I want to just me and my buddy in a truck. And listen, you know what? There's nothing wrong with wanting to be a small agency.
Yeah.
That's not my jam. Like,
right.
I'm like, I am egregious about things.
But you want to be with the egregious, doing the big things, you got to do big things.
But with my family's pest control company and with I'm sure with Real Graphics, Emily and Chris's companies, what happens is we've written the checks. Okay. We've written the checks for billboards when we were just getting started, and we really didn't have the money for billboards.
Mhm.
We've bought costumes and mascots and tents and, bless you, all kinds of things when we didn't really have the money to do it. Chris was telling me when we were sitting around talking one day, he's like, I bought this printer, and Emily's like rolling her eyes. He's like, I didn't really have money for it at the time, but I knew I needed to print shirts. And I'm like, we know what it's like, both of us, to
Mhm.
be in a place of, okay, we're fixing to write this check for what is, I can remember the days of being like, SEO, who is that? And why are they taking my money? But we've been there. We understand what it's like to be there. But I'm going to tell you, we also know that consistency
Mm.
and our word, you brought a good point, faithfulness to
Mm.
the process is worth it. And building good, solid companies. And we've both done it multiple times through different services. But honestly, my encouragement today, if you walk away from anything out of marketing school, would be, I need y'all to be bold and be courageous and be committed.
Doing that and then being diversified, having your exact specific written out documented plan in these 3 buckets, that's where you will have a holistic approach and
Mhm.
you'll see things actually happening. So don't put all your eggs in one basket, but be consistent in
Yeah.
the little things and all of these things, and you will have those big payouts over time.
Absolutely. So we have a couple of cool things coming up. Make sure that you're following us on all of our social media channels.
Yes.
Because we got some cool like webinars and things coming up. Emily's speaking on stage at a couple of things. So it's about to be travel season.
It's about to be. Who are we going to see there?
Who's going to Pantheon or Service World or Women at HVACR? I'm actually going to a new show called The Experience. I've actually bought a townhouse in Vegas because that's where I'm going to be. But we're going to Vegas about 5 times this year. But guys, thank y'all for listening to our marketing school today. As always, Lemon Seed, it is totally free to talk to us to see if Lemon Seed would be a good fit for you. Email us at hello@lemonseedmarketing, or they can visit our website.
Yep, that's it. So we would love to connect, friends and family, talk free, and we
Absolutely.
can definitely get you on the right path.
All right, guys. See you soon. See you next month, I guess. Bye.